What's up, gang? Welcome back to SSPN. It's been a minute. It's only been, well, it might be longer than 3 weeks, but on YouTube it says it's only been 3 weeks, but it feels a lot longer for me,
It
Ethan. I'm
does.
sure it feels a lot longer for you. For
hmm
all of you guys who will show up here in the chat or you're watching later, me and Ethan, we're adults now. Tell me about your life, bro.
My life, man. I moved. I'm in Dallas now, in Dallas, Texas, working a real man's job at the same time. So, life's busy and also not busy, but I'm exhausted. So, like, it's a weird vibe. But we're getting used to it. We're jumping into it. How about you, Jude?
Yeah, man. I guess the sports media world, I'm in it to an extent. Um,
You've
it
been in
was,
it, Jude.
yeah, I know it's pretty crazy, but I've told y'all on this show for a while. I worked at the San Marcos Daily Record, the newspaper in San Marcos, and our old sports editor, he ended up moving on, and he's going to go cover Missouri basketball. So covering some SEC ball, men's and women's hoops. Drew King, he's been in the chat, big Spurs fan, big shout out to him.
Yes, sir.
He taught me a ton. The 2 weeks before the last 2 weeks, I'm in my second week, like kind of by myself right now. But just living that newspaper life, man. Just literally making newspapers, sports pages every day, going to practices, interviews. But it's
The
been
next
super
Mike
cool.
Lupica.
Wait, say that, who?
The next Mike Lupica.
Mike Lupica. Who even? I can't believe I
He
don't
was
even know who that
like
is.
way back when, and like
Okay.
with New York, and he wrote like some football books like for kids. I don't know if you read those growing
Oh
up, but
shoot, that the name sounded familiar. That oh wait, no, he wrote all. I know who that is. Were they stories?
yeah.
Yes. No. Okay, I read one of the huge books of Mike Lupica. But anyways, these people are here for Spurs fandom. But that's why we've been out for 3 weeks. We both graduated school and got jobs, so that's where we've been. Also, there hasn't been a lot of other Spurs news going on, but
That's
we got
true.
our schedules together, and we're still SSPN isn't going anywhere when the season's here. We're gonna be around. And with a little bit more, leading up to the preseason because it's almost September, Ethan, which means it's almost close to preseason. Like we're almost a month away from preseason, which means, I mean, that's just pretty crazy to think
hmm
about. But we do have a little bit of news and some other stuff that we're going to talk about today. Let's just talk about the news that came out yesterday. Joe Wieskamp re-signs on a 2-year deal for the Spurs. We're happy about it, but it's also like, bro, we're bringing like 20 people to training camp. What's happening?
Yeah, MVP in the bag. Joe Wieskamp gonna
Oh
go
yeah,
off.
30 on 10 threes
Yeah,
for
for
sure.
sure. The dude's just a phenomenal shooter. Can't wait to see him get some play. But I mean, what can you say? Like in actuality, like shout out to him. He got his bag. He's on a guaranteed deal, so he's no longer one of those guys you think maybe we waive at the end of training camp if it doesn't work out. Like he is set on the roster, like moving forward. So good for Weezy.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting that it took so long. Like it made
Yeah.
me question, like, okay, maybe we're not, committed to Wee's camp, but it seemed like just with some other context clues. I remember talking about he had this camp in Iowa and it was like San Antonio Spurs shooting guard, Joe Wee's camp. So it was like, I don't feel like you would put that out. I mean, yes, you're technically on the roster then, but if you know you're going to get cut, like I don't know, maybe you're really just going for the clout chasing, but I feel like he wouldn't have like put that out as
No.
much as it was if he wasn't going to be a part of the team. With his growth that we saw in Austin and just the appeal of him being more than like being a sniper who can also do a little bit more than just snipe. I totally see why we'd want to keep him around and continue to develop him. But I was still, for a little bit, I was a little wary there. So it was just good to know that he's for sure going to be on the roster. But then that also just brings up more questions on who's going to make the roster. Because in my mind, it was like I had framed him as one of those guys who we might cut at the end of
Yeah.
it. And now it's like, no. And man, I've been trying to learn a lot of other rosters the past 3 weeks. So I don't even know like our full roster off the top of my head. But I would assume, let's see, Jordan Hall's on the 2-way.
hmm
Um, then we're gonna have Dom Barlow on the 2-way. But I'm trying to think of the other guys who could maybe potentially be like the odd men out in training camp.
Do we still got Kaya Bates, right?
We do. That is very interesting. Yeah, that could be somebody who would be
Romeo
in
Langford.
that competition. Romeo Langford's another one. Yep, probably. Um, hmm.
We thought we would see another trade prior to this, and we still
Yeah.
haven't. Apparently, those trade talks aren't as like they're not on the
Real.
front burner as much as we thought. Kind of after free agency and the whole Dejounte trade, like I still think Dougie and Jakob are probably out by the end of the year, but it's looking more like a trade deadline kind of thing, if it even happens,
That's
honestly.
what I was just thinking about. So I remember we talked about Jakob last time, and I feel like that's going to probably be the biggest thing to watch at the trade deadline, unless Romeo Langford becomes like a super serviceable role player out of nowhere. you
Yeah.
know,
Mhm.
there might be some other guys that end up getting moved. Um, and just to talk about the trade deadline, I was looking through our most popular uploads because I was trying to remember how we worded position breakdown. I ended up not even using the way that we worded it, but I was looking for it, right? And one of the things that I saw that got 1,000 views last year, Ethan, and I'm pretty sure it was a clip of my rant, and it was
Yeah.
like the headline is like, it's a Derek White. He's staying in SA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here's
Yeah.
why the Spurs will not trade Derek White.
I remember
And
those
I
days.
was, I was like, oh no, man. I was so wrong. I was so wrong.
We both were. Nobody saw it coming, really. I mean, there was no precedence for the Spurs making a trade at that point, So I'm not ready to bash you yet, Jude. I promise, not yet.
Oh my gosh. We got some people in the chat here. Floyd Kizzy and OG. What's up, my man? Good to see you still here. And then we also got a question from our man Spurgood Marshall. So who do you think will be the shooting guards?
That's a
Will
great name.
that is right. Um, we'll get into that a little bit more because we are going over the point guards today and the next one of these that we do. But just to start off, it'll probably be a competition between a mix of J. Rich, Primo, and Devin Vassell. I mean, but I would probably say Devin Vassell for sure.
As a two guard, yeah. He just said
Yeah.
guards in general. He didn't say shooting
Yeah.
guards.
Oh, he says, who will you be? I just totally missed that and
No,
literally
you're
put
good.
it
You're
up on
good.
the screen. So starting guards, well, let's just jump right into the point guard breakdown, Ethan. This is, I think, an interesting one. So I think we both think that the three guys that are going to be playing the point guard position primarily, obviously, seems like a lot of switchability on this roster now. And for two of these guys, that's definitely true. But the one dude who is a true point guard is Trey Jones, right? He's
Yeah.
definitely going to be playing point guard, but I'm not ready to say that he's going to start. I think they might start Primo. What do you think?
I think they could. I mean, all the signs point to Primo being their guy, at least in the front office and the coaching staff. They have all the faith in the world in him. I think that was apparent when they traded Dejounte Murray. And they gave him a lot of playing time, like meaningful minutes, especially late in the year last year. Obviously, he showed out in the G League. Had a rough summer league, but we're going to give him one pass because everybody gets one, Jude. So I wouldn't be surprised at all. He's only 19 years old still. We're in a full-on rebuild. Why not give our lottery pick from 2 years ago a chance to prove himself, to show that he is that superstar level talent that they were so happy that fell to them. What was he drafted at? Was it 9?
13.
9. Where did I get that?
That was
That was
Sohan. You got it from this
Sohan.
year.
Sohan. I'm not completely stupid.
Yep.
Yeah, so I wouldn't be totally surprised, but the safe, logical choice, probably Trey Jones, because he's probably going to make less mistakes, be more consistent. He is definitely a more natural field general than Josh Primo is at this point in his career. Um, but he doesn't have that same explosiveness, that same athleticism, that same versatility and splash potential as a Joshua Primo. It could go either way. It's one of those things where it's like, knowing Pop, it's going to be Trey Jones. But the front office and what they've said and how they've showed off Josh Primo as like the next face of the team and what the fan base wants to see
There's a
and all those
billboard
mixes. Yeah. Like it
in
just
San
seems like
Marcos, dude.
modern day NBA, like what would happen is Joshua Primo gets the nod. Um, yeah.
Yeah. I get where Floyd Kizzy's coming from because when you just look at pure point guard, Trey Jones is really the only one on the roster,
Yeah.
in all honesty.
True.
But I just think that there's definitely a chance that Primo could end up doing that. He started a couple times last year, obviously not at point guard, but still got some starts. And it would just kind of be similar to the Tony treatment. Like you
Yeah.
just feel like he has a higher ceiling than Trey Jones, so you just throw him in the fire. We're going to be asked this year anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
it's like you might as well. That's kind of the logic there, but I'm not going to be surprised with if Trey Jones comes out and is the starter either.
We're going to lose either way. Let's be honest. Like we're not going to win the game because Trey Jones is
Yeah.
starting. We're not going to win the game because Josh Primo is starting. We're going to be a rough team. They'll probably split the minutes pretty evenly, no matter who's going to get the starting nod. And what has been one of our biggest complaints about the Spurs the past like 3 to 4 years, Jude, is like we don't give our young guys that we draft high, like we don't give them meaningful minutes. We don't give them the chance to prove themselves, make those mental mistakes on the court. We're in a full-on rebuild. There's no
Yeah.
chance we're getting into the playoffs. No chance. Might as well let them play. But I do understand where Floyd is coming from. The logical choice is Trey Jones.
And I could definitely see some points this year also where maybe Josh Primo's in the doghouse a little bit
Could be.
and Trey gets some starts. I think those guys, honestly, the more that we're talking about this and the more I'm thinking about it, it's honestly probably going to be a mix of both.
Trial by fire.
Yeah. Let's see what our man Spurgood Marshall has to say. I think they want Primo to be a more efficient Dame Lillard. Yeah. I mean, there's so many comparisons you could make. But I do see what he's saying, especially with the step back shooting ability. And even though Primo is much bigger than Lillard, Lillard has had some posters, in his time. Maybe I don't know if that's true or not.
Lillard with posters? Yeah, he's got posters.
Okay. I was about
He
to
was
say,
in the dunk contest back in
am
the
I
day.
just pulling that out of my butt? Okay, good.
No, he doesn't dunk nearly as much anymore, but he used to be that guy.
Yeah, and so, being 6'6", having that kind of, same athletic ability, having a good vertical, I can see that as well. And our man Floyd, he just straight up disagrees that he's a point guard. And I'm honestly not mad at that because I can see it with his height, and if he continues to grow, he might really merge into more of that 2 or 3. But the good news is with Primo, and this is kind of what we talked about earlier with the switchability, he's somebody who can play 1 through 3. And so I just think, especially with how much they played him at point in Austin, I think that's something they'll want him to do. They'll definitely want him to be a ball handler. Even if maybe he's necessarily not the point guard, if that makes sense. And who knows, maybe Trey Jones is sniping next year.
Who knows, bro? He's been in the lab just working on that shot.
The new Chip, it's even better than Chip. Anyways.
You know what? Honestly, like the closing lineup for us, or one of our lineups, could be Trey Jones, Primo, Devin, Keldon, Jakob. You know what I mean? Like we could play
Trey
that
Jones,
lineup.
Primo, Devin, Keldon. Yeah. I could totally see that for sure too. And even I like this comparison.
Of us like
that. Okay. So we'll talk about some of the other point guards. I know we got some other questions, but just to continue kind of with this point guard breakdown. So we talked about those two guys, right? And then Blake Wesley. Wesley is going to be the other one. He can play a combo guard. He really can. He's 6'4". We've seen what he can do off the dribble. But, just with drafting him and Malachi, it seems like he's definitely going to be in more of the point guard role, while Malachi will kind of be more of that 2 or 3. But he also took the ball up the floor at Ohio State, so he could kind of be like Primo, where he can play 1 through 3 as well. But I think definitely from what we saw in Summer League, Blake Wesley's going to be that third guy. But I also think he's going to be an Austin Spur.
Yeah, he's probably going to play most of his time in Austin, at least for the first half of the season.
Yeah.
Check back in with us at All-Star break. Maybe
that's a good point.
Some trash minutes here and there, but I like his game, and we've talked about him. He's explosive. He's shifty. He's got a little bit of juice in those legs. He can get up a lot easier than I thought he could. When we drafted him, I thought he wasn't that like explosive or dynamic, but clearly we were wrong. Blake is more of a skinny, tanned Manu type. It's not a bad comparison. That's not a bad one. He's definitely not afraid to shoot the ball.
He's erratic, yeah, and he's aggressive. Like when I say erratic, I mean like he's the type to make those Manu passes where it's like, baseline under the basket and like throw it to the under corner, where it's like, oh God, this is going to be a turnover, but because they have the skill, somehow it gets through.
Yeah, he's another guy. Like you said, they could also play the 2. Any more though, really, Jude? Other than Chris Paul, I'm trying to think. I guess LeBron, but he's a 3. But we don't really see a point guard anymore in the NBA. Like there's not one designated guy that brings the ball up anymore. Like they take turns, and even Chris Paul. I mean, I know he's point guard, but Devin takes it up.
The Grizzlies are probably they're a rare team that kind of has Tyus Jones and Ja Morant, so they kind of have those point guards, but that's definitely a trend in the league. We're seeing less and less of like those just Trey Jones types, right?
Right, like in the 80s, like Isaiah Thomas, John Stockton, they brought the ball up 99% of the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Anymore, it's not the case. And I'm wondering, because Pop's kind of that old school mentality, right? Like Tony and Manu were really the only guys that brought the ball up. Is he going to continue to do that, or is he going to let Keldon and Devin bring the ball up?
Yeah.
Like we were talking about, our boy Floyd doesn't think that Primo is a natural point. Maybe he just doesn't bring the ball up like every single time. Like who knows what we're going to do? But
Yeah.
it's a weird trend right now in the NBA. I could see us following that.
Yeah, and I think I forget who else. I think it was Floyd. No, it was Spurgood Marshall. He was talking about starting guards, and it's just kind of funny that he mentions that because starting guards like that might just be the new standard. It might not be point guard, shooting guard. It's just like you've got your two guards, and everybody's kind of combo, which kind of goes back to the other point that our man Spurgood made, which was Primo being more of that new age AAU combo guard, and you're seeing more and more like taller guys who they may not even be the best shooters or like big men, but they're facilitators. You really are seeing more of that in the youth level as well too. So that's going to be something to watch out for. But yeah, any other kind of thoughts on that whole conversation?
I do think that we're underrating Primo's playmaking ability. I know he makes a lot of mistakes, but it's there.
And had a lot of turnovers in Austin, but yeah,
you can see that he knows where to put the ball. He's just a little too reckless right now. So he just needs to tighten that up. And Pop will make sure he does.
Oh, yes, he will. Oh, my Lord. All right. Well, we got our man M Easy back in the house. I don't understand why they didn't look into signing Colin Sexton. He is young too. I think the short answer to this, I saw this question earlier and I was thinking about it, is Victor Wembanyama.
Yeah, we don't want to win.
Yeah.
So simple as that.
But I understand where you're coming from because that might have been a good pickup with the money we had in this offseason. But the short answer is we're trying to lose.
Yeah, we don't want to win, and we already have like way too many people on the team.
Yeah, that's crazy, bro. Like we don't have the straight training camp roster in front of us, and I wish I could have got it. Let me see. This is probably last year's. Yeah, okay. We don't want
guards alone. We have Trey, Joshua Primo, and
Branham, Blake Wesley, Jay Rich,
Wieskamp.
Jay Rich.
Yeah, that's that. We're at 6 right now with Jay Rich and Weezy, and then we're missing somebody. Devin. Who else? I feel like we have one more. Jordan Hall.
Yeah.
We have way too many guards.
Oh my gosh, I can't even. Yeah, I still feel like we're missing somebody. Is the crazy thing. Oh my gosh. Let me see. We're such a great podcast, Ethan. I need to go look up the roster.
Yeah, literally. Jude. Gosh. I'm kidding. I'm just no. Spurgood says Sexton's a Russell Westbrook type of guy. No good for Pop. Yeah, to be fair, I don't watch Colin Sexton like at all.
Mm-hmm.
I know he was hurt though. Maybe that's more serious than we're giving it credit for. I have no idea.
Well, I got the roster right now on the website, so let's check it out. So
Perfect.
Here we go. Do we want to do position or just run it down?
Just run it down, I guess.
Okay. So we got. We'll just, if you want to count for me, that'd be great. Even though I can't see you.
Yeah.
Jeremy Sohan, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley. I'm just gonna do straight dudes on the roster. We're gonna skip Barlow and Jordan Hall just because they're not gonna be. Because they're not gonna be on the team. Okay,
Classic Jude. Get us canceled again.
What did I even say?
You said I'm just gonna keep it straight, dudes.
Oh, okay.
And you're like, I'm not gonna have Barlow and Hall.
Oh God.
It's a weird criteria, Jude, but okay.
I'm gonna keep it dudes who are on the roster like for more than 45 days. How about that? Okay. So Sohan, Malachi Branham, Blake Wesley, Keldon Johnson, Josh Richardson, Gorgie Chang. That was one I forgot
about that.
Yeah. Josh Primo, Joe Wieskamp, Doug McDermott. No way he's still on the roster, bro. They're listing K-Cock on here, bro.
Is he?
He's still here. There's no way. No. Him and DJ Stewart have the same number. Oh my gosh. They're competing.
Oh no.
Wow. No. That's crazy.
We're at 10.
Okay.
And DJ Stewart's 11, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, this is the thing is they've updated it. Like I don't think that this is out of date because Isaiah Roby's on here.
Oh yeah, 7 or 12.
So like, you see what I'm saying? That was in
Yeah,
like what, July? So that means Kcock is really going into training camp.
good for him. Good for
Oh
Dejounte.
my god. Okay, Zach Collins, Vassell, Pirtle, Robert Woodard, Keita Bates, Trey Jones, Romeo Langford.
19 players.
Yeah, and they got Brett Brown on here as the assistant coach, so this is really
Yep,
updated.
that's accurate. That's 19 guys. But then
Wow.
two of them
Two
will be two
two
ways.
ways. So
So
really, we're
17
bringing
guys.
21 dudes to
Oh
training
yeah,
camp.
yeah. Oh god, yeah. Jeez.
21 dudes. We gotta have the biggest training camp roster in the
We
league.
can run 10s on 10.
We're
Jeez.
running teams. That's the
Yeah,
whole point.
with
That's
rotations. We got wow. Also, MVZ, you're right. They're not going to win 40 games even with Sexton. But why? Why?
why would we lower our chances?
We're
Is
not
their
fighting for 40
mentality.
games. We want to win 8. Like we don't. Even if he helps us win 4 more games, like
Yeah,
it's
they're
still like
they're really trying to get him, or just the highest pick possible in the lottery. Whether that's him or Scoot Henderson, they're just trying to
yeah.
get the
You're right.
next star.
He's not a playoff guy. Like he's not going to make us a playoff team, but he's not going to help us get the number 1 pick, and that's
But
what matters.
he might win us enough games to get
Yeah.
us out of the number 1 pick.
He might get us to pick number 5, and then we're all going to hate him.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so yeah, that's the
A
roster.
lot of guys.
Wow. I don't know. I just forgot about Isaiah Roby again.
Me too.
That's honestly my biggest takeaway from that. I'm like, that's right. We'll have another 4. So let's see. That means okay. So let's group the guys who are going to probably be in the battle for the spots, like the last spots on the roster, who are not guaranteed spots in the roster. I'm going to say Keita Bates, Romeo Langford, Robert Woodard, DJ Stewart, Devontae Kaycock.
Yeah.
And that's it, which would make sense because that would get us down to 15 because the 2-way guys don't count. So
all 5 of them are gone. That's about as clear
yeah,
cut as it gets.
I don't.
We'll waive them, and then when we trade Jakob for a first,
Yeah,
we'll
like
sign one of them
unless we're
back.
gonna troll and just like cut Gorgie Zhang, even though we signed him, and then take somebody else. But yeah, that's what it seems like. Man, rip Keita Bates. That's honestly the biggest. I feel like that's the biggest L here.
Yeah, but
Not
we
even
got
that
Isaiah Roby.
not that it's even a bad loss, but like, yeah. What if Keita Bates beats out Isaiah Roby? Because didn't we think Keita Bates beat out Samanich last year?
Yeah.
Granted,
Let's
that
see if
wasn't
Isaiah Roby chases down some loose
Yeah.
balls.
Granted, I think Isaiah Roby is much better than. I don't think we could. That was disrespectful to Roby. He's actually like played consistent NBA minutes.
Luka isn't even in like the G League anymore. I don't think.
He's gone. Yeah.
I saw that
Knicks cut him.
he put on his Instagram story the other week like a highlight reel from his G League like games with the Knicks. And I was like, ooh, that's tough.
Yeah,
My boy's desperate. Shout out
Okay.
to Luka Samanich.
Another question that we had earlier from our man Floyd Kizzy. So starting 5 as of today. Let's roll with it. Okay.
Is this what we want, or is this what we think is going to happen?
See, I feel like what he's asking is just like the legit lineup, like what's going to happen.
Okay.
I really feel like they're going to end up starting Primo. But I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be game 1. So I'll go with Trey Jones just to start. Trey Jones, Devin, Keldon, Doug, Jakob.
Yeah, it's the same for me.
It's like either, or maybe you put Primo starting at point, but
I was gonna say
where Doug's still gonna be the 4, bro.
Yeah, he's got that spot on lock.
There ain't nothing. Yeah, there ain't nothing.
Our poor man Sohan will probably be in Austin at first. Yes, Spurgood. I hope he's not. For the love of God, let him play.
Yeah. Okay. Now that we did what we think, what do we want as our starting lineup this year? And honestly, this should be free reign because who cares?
Mhm.
We're losing.
Okay, I'm gonna go Joshua Primo, Devin, Keldon, Sohan, and Jakob.
That's what I'd say too.
Yeah. Or actually, give me this lineup.
Okay. I swear if you put Sohan at center right now.
Give me Primo.
Okay.
You called it, dude. Give me Primo. Give me J Rich. I'm just joking.
Wait.
Give me Primo. No, I'm just joking, bro. Give
Okay.
me. No, I can't even say it because it's so bad. I don't even want it.
Well, just say it. Just say
I
it.
was gonna just
Now
put
you have to.
Sohan. I was gonna put Sohan at center,
You were gonna.
but then I realized I was gonna have to put Keldon at the 4, and I was like, that's so against what I believe in. I can't even joke about it. Yeah, that's gonna happen, Emizy. You're right, and I'm so upset about it.
For those of you guys listening on podcast, MEZ's comment was Keldon will be starting at the 4. Write it down.
Oh.
Yeah, so I think that that's going to be technically untrue, but also very true. You know why? Because they're going to list Doug at the 4 in the starting lineup, but Keldon's going to play it.
Yeah, he's gonna defend the 4, and he's gonna get
Yeah.
obliterated. I feel so
I
bad.
guess this year it doesn't matter as much, but it like still sucks
Yeah.
for him. Oh my gosh.
Poor,
shoot.
poor
Dude, we haven't talked about Dejounte.
Oh yeah.
We have to talk about Dejounte.
Oh.
This man is out of. So the Paulo stuff happened. That's like the main thing that's happened since we've last been on here. We may have talked about some of the other stuff. I know we were on after the trade, but
We haven't
this man's
talked
been
about.
wildin'. Have we
Yeah.
talked about him? The video of him in the Atlanta club, like the day after he got there.
No.
Oh, well, I don't know if I could talk about that on here, but
He was going crazy on. in
yeah,
the
just
club.
look up Dejounte Atlanta club video, and you'll see
Some
lots
things.
of you'll see some things. But my man has been wildin'. Like the Paulo stuff, dude. That got me when I seen like all the stuff he was saying to him. I was like, okay, honestly, this isn't that crazy. Like listening to this man, watching this man Snapchat for however long, it's like, okay, now he's just saying on social media what he would like. Now he's saying on Instagram what he would always say on Snapchat. So it wasn't like, even though he never like really went after and attacked somebody, it was still just like to see that blatant was pretty crazy. But the thing that got me, dude, is when I go on Twitter, and I didn't even see it on Instagram because I don't really get on Instagram that much, but I see, I'm a blow your back out, little boy. Just you wait. At Paulo 05. I'm like, no, dude. He's talking gang, you know what, man. Like,
Oh my god.
I was like, dude, he went to Atlanta. Pop leash is gone. And so now I guess I wonder if he was acting like this, like, not just throughout the years, but if he really cranked it up, like at some point this year. Or I don't know what happened, but I feel like something happened. The floor is yours, Ethan.
You know what Dejounte's doing right now? He's doing the classic, like, you break up with a girl and she immediately dyes her hair pink and goes crazy. You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what
That's
you're
DJ
saying.
right now. That is Dejounte Murray. Like, we had such a nice relationship, such a respectful young lad. The relationship fell apart, and now he's going nuts, and we're seeing his true colors. You know what? Shout out to him. He's gonna be the toughest 7th seed ever in the history of the Eastern Conference to lose in the first round. Oh my god! I mean, what can you say? I don't even know what to say.
I think that Spurgeon Marshall put it best. Dejounte has the personality of an emotional mumble rapper.
It's true.
Yes. Oh my gosh. No, and it was so funny. I always thought he was so funny because I would look on his Snapchats and I would just see the stuff he said, and I would just think it was like, oh, it's just Dejounte being Dejounte. And now it's like, but I felt like, okay, he's just doing it on Snapchat, in his videos where it's really just music. Or he's not blatantly, like calling somebody out or anything. Even if we know he's subtweeting somebody, it's like he's doing it in like the most private, even though his Snapchat feed's public, which I don't know why he did that, but Other than that, like still, he was keeping it on Snapchat. He wasn't doing it anywhere else. And now it's just that side of him is like times 10, just
It makes it
at
worse that
all
he's in
times.
Atlanta.
And he's in Atlanta.
That's what makes it worse. If he was in
Now
like
he's in
OKC,
he's in the mumble rap capital of the world. Shout out Spurkit. Oh my lord.
yeah, it's rough.
Our
Good luck
man,
to him.
yeah, good luck to him. Easy thinks that him and Trae Young, or doesn't think that him and Trae Young are a great fit in that backcourt. It's gonna be interesting to see how that works. I think so. When you just think of it offensive and defensively, it feels like they can play off of each other a lot, right? And it also feels like Trae Young can be off the ball more. The thing is, though, for like a lot of Trae Young's career, he's been pretty ball dominant. And I know they want to do that less, but I just wonder like if that's going to work out as good as they think it is. You know what I mean? Putting both of them in positions that they've never been in before in their careers. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I think there's going to be a little bit of, I mean, they might really get in rhythm late in the season and catch fire, who knows? But I think that there definitely will be an adjustment period for those two, even though they're going to be super uberly talented. I think that, them sharing the ball, because they both were the guys, you know what I
Yeah.
mean, before they were there. Because it's kind of like Paul George and Kawhi, you know what I mean? Like, not saying it's going to be terrible, like they're going to be a playoff team, but it just might not work out as well as they think it's going to. Like, it might not be that final piece they really think is going to like put the puzzle together.
I think it'll help defensively as far as they'll be able to hide Trae Young a lot easier now, and he won't be as exhausted come playoff time. But you're right; they're going to have to stagger their minutes like significantly because DJ playing off ball is just not going to work. Like DeMar DeRozan can barely play off ball with Zach LaVine and Lonzo Ball, and DJ's not as good. So like, why would it work in that situation?
I guess I would say that DJ's a better shooter than Dejounte or than DeMar from three, but
I don't even know about that.
they're like around. Well, that's true, because didn't DeMar shoot better last year?
Yeah, I mean, percentage-wise, you're
Not
probably right,
great, but like, yeah, I think he did. But that's what I was gonna say. I think that, I mean, but I don't know.
we'll see what happens.
Like Dejounte can hit a wide open three now. I think it's better, but I don't know. Maybe he goes over there. Chip's gone. His shots broke again.
Who knows? We'll see. They'll be interesting in the fast break.
Yeah, but I liked your point on defense too, because it's like, depending on how much load Dejounte has to handle, is he going to be able to be as effective offensively? Because he's kind of effective offensively, like just kind of ISO, like,
Yeah.
where if he's playing off ball or he's having to, I mean, just facilitating isn't too bad, but I don't know. We could go on and on about the Hawks, but it'll be interesting. There's definitely a lot of different parts that they'll have to figure out. But I think that they'll have a way better year than they did last year for sure. I think they'll definitely be in the playoffs.
Playoffs for sure. Out in the first round for sure.
Oh my!
It's my guess.
Yeah, Floyd Kizzy says, "Good luck, DJ. Hope he does not lose it without the Spurs culture keeping him in check." Yeah, we'll see what happens. Hopefully he can just. Hopefully this is just a summer phase. What's up?
He's the next Steven Jackson.
Oh my god!
Remember Steven left the Spurs and got in the Indiana versus Detroit.
But did we draft
Dallas
Steven Jackson? We didn't draft.
He didn't get drafted by anybody. He was a rookie with the Spurs. He was one of those guys that just was such a troublemaker. He didn't go to college or anything. He like played overseas, and nobody wanted to pick him up. Spurs gave him a chance. He won a championship, and then he's
literally Steven Jackson.
Yeah. I mean, Steven had
different,
multiple stops.
Obviously different players too.
But. Yeah, way different. But as far as leaving the Spurs and becoming an absolute menace to society, like, yeah.
Yes. Oh my gosh, Jax was a dog. That's what our man Marshall says. All right, Ethan. Well, I think we've actually covered everything on the rundown today. But is there anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up this SSPN Live?
Let's try and win under 10 games, boys.
Let's break that. Hey, Hop broke a record last year. Let's do it back to back. He'll be the first
to back.
Imagine, bro. You break the all-time wins record, and then the next season, you proceed to have the worst record in NBA history.
Oh,
bro,
God.
People are gonna, if that happens, even if it doesn't happen, like 50 years from now, dude, or not 50, like 30 years from now, we're gonna be, we'll be in our 50s, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna be sitting here and some young kids, and they're gonna be like, Pop isn't the greatest coach of all time. In 2022-23, he had a terrible year. If he was a good coach and the best coach, they would have won more games than that. And we're gonna be like, you don't even know, bro.
Oh man, I hope so. I'd like that. I made a bet with a guy today that the Spurs would be top 4 in the West in 3 years.
Oh, really?
He did not agree with me. Oh, Steven Jackson was a rookie with the Nets. My bad. I
It's all
thought the Spurs started with the Spurs.
I've kind of felt bad putting that up there for you, Ethan. I was like, I'm
Yeah,
really not
way to
trying
call me out, Jude.
But I just, we
Yeah, we keep it real. That's cool.
Yes.
I made a mistake. Bubby.
So that's an interesting conversation. I think we can wrap up with that. So you made a bet with a friend in 4 years. There'll be
3 years, top 4 in the West.
Interesting. I don't even know if I would. How much did you bet, if you don't mind?
We didn't say any money.
Okay, that's good. Y'all
we
just
haven't
bet.
gotten there yet.
Okay.
We'll see what happens.
That'll be that's an interesting one. I don't know. I'm really not sure I'm convinced on that yet.
I said at first. I said
wait.
4.
Is that going to be the end of Keldon's contract? I think in 3 years I would make a bet that we'll be playoff bound, but I don't know if I'm ready to say top 4.
I think we're top 4.
Okay,
let's think.
I could see it if like
will be out, right?
But we got our ceilings of our guys. We'll go here.
I got faith in our boys.
But finish what you were saying. I interrupted you. My bad.
Lakers will be out. Who knows where Dallas is if Luka leaves because they don't give him another All-Star? Who knows about Denver? They're kind of on their way down. Utah's out. They're already done. New Orleans will be up there. Golden State will probably... Well, who knows if Golden State's still up there? They'll be old as hell by then. 3 years in the finals, baby. Yeah, we might get Victor Wembanyama. You're not thinking, Jude. You're not thinking.
That's true. You're right.
The Grizzlies turned it around.
We're gonna get a top
years.
pick. We're gonna get a top pick. Yeah.
The Grizzlies drafted Ja in what, 2019?
Yeah.
They were top 4 in the West in 2022. 3 years.
Very good point. Our man Spurgood Marshall says, you guys need to start selling merch and monetize your channel. Well, what I can tell you is actually we do have some merch. If you want to go over to SpursTubeTV.com, you can get a t-shirt, a hoodie, or a mug. But I think we'll definitely at some point, once we get to 1,000, that's when we're able to monetize the videos. Just like with the views and stuff. We'll probably like make some sort of website with a little bit, like with some other designs and stuff for merch. We'll have to get that all figured out. I don't know when we'll have time to do that, but that will be a thing one day. Actually, probably maybe like next summer. I know that's a while away, but like I actually forget that in my job, even though during the school year it's kind of like go. In the summer, there's like nothing going on. So, which is the best time for Spurs content, also. So. That'll be a lot of fun. And I see Noah Perez, we back. Yes, sorry y'all are coming in late. I know we got the tweet up. We're just trying to juggle. That's the better word. Juggle everything right now. Nick, I saw you were in here too. So we appreciate all the OGs that are in here. Any final thoughts before we go, Ethan?
Can't wait for preseason when we actually get to watch Jeremy Sohan and everybody play.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, this will be the greatest preseason ever. I mean, I don't know. Maybe not the greatest, but it'll be a preseason that's way more meaningful than usual.
Correct.
So, all right, y'all. Well, if you enjoyed today's content, go ahead and follow us on Twitter at Ethan_Quintero, at Jude McLaren. We will tweet out stuff. So when we're out for a while, if you want to know when we're coming back on, that's how you can find out. You can also go ahead and don't forget to like and subscribe. If you did, tell your friends, all that good stuff. We appreciate y'all. Once again, Noah Perez's last comment, I got to mention, I'm ready for that Alamo Dome game. That is the one that I'm most looking forward to, except the fact that we're going to get blown out by the Warriors.
Let's go.
But other than that, we appreciate y'all. We'll catch you in the next one and see you.